What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Planes, Trains, and Comic Books channel. I'm Matt, and this is my reading vlog for the middle of April 2021. So let's get right to it. Had a bunch of comics come out this last week. A lot of good indie stuff, pretty interesting. The first one I got is a little book called Phantom on the Scan. It's got like a Keanu Reeves looking guy on the front of it, if you can see. And this one is written by Cullen Bunn, and the art is by Mark Torres. This is number one. It's an Aftershock comic, which is the publisher. And I gotta say, this one was pretty cool. The story isn't like 100%, clear yet exactly. It's number one, but it's set up a bunch of stuff. Basically, this issue is called The Night the Comet Fell. There's a big comet that comes and then cuts ahead 22 years later, and there's a man who is being haunted by a ghost who gives him psychic powers, and I guess it drains his life every time he uses them or something like that. So he's trying to figure out how to not die, and it's pretty interesting. It's a really creative idea. The art is really, really good. I liked it. It's like a kind of creepy. Everything seems like it's kind of like, I don't know, like painted, but then it's kind of slowly like moving down, like sliding down the page or something. I don't know. It's creepy, but it's really good. I enjoyed that. Cullen Bunn did a comic we read for the podcast called Harrow County, and it's like a horror comic, so I kind of knew this was going to be like a horror comic, but that one was really good. This one is a solid start to a series. Pick that one up if you like the sound of that one. Then I got Serial number 3, and Serial is a Terry Moore comic. Don't let the cover fool you. If you see it, there's a little girl here who's the serial killer. She's like she was an evil person in another book that he had, and she had like the knife of Jack the Ripper, and it was like possessed by a demon, and all this crazy shit was happening. So she was like a murderer. And then if you see on this cover, there's like a guy. Let's see if we can get there's a guy trying to get her candy, and then she's got like a razor blade on the balloon here, so she's about to kill him anyway. But yeah, this deals with a lot of serial killers. You couldn't tell from the title. Written and drawn by Terry Moore, a local Texan, and self-published by his company. That one was really solid. It's the way his stuff is paced, it's always finishes too soon. I always want more stuff to happen. Like I'm reading page turn, and oh, that's it. Ah, damn it, I gotta wait another month. So this one, she's actually tracking down another serial killer who's killing men who are pretty terrible men. So what she's doing is wrong, obviously, but it's like excessive, we'll say. But they are bad guys, so she's killing them. She also killed like a couple women too for reasons we're not 100% sure on yet. But one of them was a friend of this character, so that's why she's trying to find out who this other serial killer is. So that was pretty good. That's number 3 in that series. Oh, I didn't grade on the Phantom on the Scan. Phantom on the Scan, I'm going to give it 4. The art was really good. It was a strong opening. So check that one out. And then Serial number 3, I'm going to give 4 as well. I'm still waiting for it to kind of like get to the like whodunits part of it. So the last, all the issues are pretty good and solid. Like I said, they always want you. He always leaves you wanting more. So then we have a more mainstream book here. We got a new DC Green Lantern series, and this is actually the variant cover because the original cover is terrible. But sorry about the glare on things, but I got them in the bags. But yeah, so this is Green Lantern number 1. This story, it was kind of a lot. It's the number 1. It's setting up stuff, and it's like the whole core is in this book. So there's a lot of talking, a lot of setting up of stuff, and then there was a giant battle, so that was kind of cool. So it started a little slow, but it ended solid. So I'm gonna give this one a 3. is good. I'd pick it up if you like Green Lantern, especially if you want to see how this one goes. Then the next one I read was Fear Case number 3. This series is very cool. It's another one that finishes too fast. Every time I read it, I'm like, oh, that's it. But it always leaves on like a really good cliffhanger, making me wanting more. So this is also a book that's a horror book. You might see a lot of these horror books in this next week, or in this week's reading vlog. But this one is, I think I've done 1 and 2 I think I established that this is a book about like two detectives trying to chase down this mystery case, an actual case, and they have a case for this case, and it is like it follows kind of scenario where if it's given to some, or if you get the case, you have to give it to someone you hate within a certain amount of time, or else it'll kill you, and then the one you love as well, or something. So it's pretty creepy. It's kind of like The Ring or something. But this one ended on like a big cliffhanger. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I was like, oh shit. So leaving me wanting more. How could you say no to that? And then we got The Swamp Thing number 2. You know me, big Swamp Thing fan. Got my own podcast just dedicated to Swamp Thing. We'll eventually read these when we get through all the other series, because we're doing them in order. So, but this one was really, really good. This is about the new Swamp Thing kind of coming into his own, kind of discovering that he is this elemental being, and that he's got to fight some other elementals. I guess they're kind of going from the Scott Snyder run where there's like a death and or like some kind of death minions or elementals or something. So but it was pretty badass. This one had really good fight scenes, really well written. I like this new Swamp Thing a lot. He's just so torn between like, what is he doesn't know what's going on, what's happening to him, and then there's always like badass fights in it. So, and it seems like he really, like the writer who's Ram V, he really does awesome. Like he understands the character, I guess. Like he knows he wants it to be like horrific at points and like graphically brutal with the fighting and all that. So I really enjoy it. If I didn't grade Fear Case, let's see. Fear Case is going to get a 3.5. It's keeping me interested, but I'm waiting for it to kind of move forward. And then Swamp Thing, this one gets 4.5. I enjoyed this a lot. Everybody should pick that up because it's amazing. This one's going to be my pick of the week, actually. This one came out of nowhere. The Silver Coin number 1. I just picked it up based on the cover. It looks fucking freaky to me. This one is written by Chip Zdarsky and the art by Michael Walsh. And this is actually an anthology series. I guess it's going to be like 5 issues long. And each issue is a different writer or creative team. And they're going to tell a story, I'm assuming, about the coin. Maybe that the coin is what connects each issue. But this one is about like a rock star who's I'll say a guitar player who's in a band who wants to be a rock star, but the band apparently kind of sucks, or at least it's just not breaking through. And then he finds this coin, and it seems to be helping them out a lot. And but it isn't exactly the godsend he thinks it is. So like the lucky coin that he wants it to be, or that he thinks it is. So this was really, really good. I enjoyed this a lot. The art was fantastic. The writing was really good. Like I said, this was my pick of the week. This is a 5 to me. I love these horror comics or these random kind of underground stuff. I know this is an Image book, but it's Image is still kind of, they put stuff out that's low key, and that was kind of out of nowhere for me. So then the next one we got, Conan number 20, Conan the Barbarian from Marvel. This one, the creative team is Zub and Smith. Zub's been writing this for a while. I think the last like 9 or 10 issues, and I enjoyed his run at the beginning. This issue was kind of I like the cover though. The cover is fucking fantastic. Just the him fighting this big ass tiger that's a little oversized for what a tiger actually is, and then like that red in the back. I don't know. It just really pops. I like this cover a lot. So the issue just it kind of took a while to get to where something happened, and then when it did, it was finally like, yeah, finally. So like there's a big fight and everything, but he runs into, let's see, Conan is he's in this distant land called Katai, I believe is what it is, and he gets captured, then he escaped, and then he's on the run, and he runs into some bandits who at first he joins them, and then turns out maybe they're not exactly who he thought they were, and of course he's got to fight them. So I'm gonna give that one, like I said, it wasn't like the best issue. Mainly the cover was what was the best thing about it. So I'm gonna give that one a 3. It's just kind of middle. It wasn't boring, but it wasn't great until the end. The end fights were cool. Then Maniac of New York was the next one I read, also an Aftershock Press book. This is number 3. This one is written by Elliot Kalin and drawn by Andrea Muti. This one, I liked the other 2 issues better. They were like more setup, but they were more mysterious. And this one was literally just on a train. And I think if you heard the last from issue 2, the last vlog about this comic, it's like he had just stepped onto the train and was going to murder everybody on it, and then it cut, and then now this is the murder train. So they don't really show him murdering everybody. They show the aftermath where he's already murdered everybody. He's stuck on this train until it gets to the next stop. It's an automated train, and there's only 3 people left alive on the train. It's like a mom and 2 kids, or I don't know if they're her kids or not, but she's trying to protect these kids from him. So they're running up the train, and he's trying to get them, in his like walking stalker way. And 2 detectives are able to make it onto the train and try to stop him. So this one just felt, maybe because they were just on the train, it just didn't feel as like cool as the other ones, but I'm still reading it, still good. This one I'll give it 3.5. There was still really good kill scenes in it, and if you like kind of horror Jason movies and stuff, check that one out. And then this one was kind of the biggest dud of the week, is Batman the Detective #1. I mean, I love me a Batman story, and this one's written by Tom Taylor, who he wrote the Constantine Rise and Fall series by DC, and that was like a Black Label book, and I really liked that. So I'm like, okay, I'll try to give some of his other stuff a try. And this one I just didn't connect with at all. Like maybe it's because I thought it was going to be like a standard Batman story or something, and this is Batman like tracking down some bad guys that are in England, and it also is in continuity with like current Batman, which I don't really read. And I guess like spoilers for anybody who doesn't read the current Batman series, plug your ears. But apparently Alfred is dead and stuff, so I didn't even know that until I read this, and I was like, oh, I guess I should have read that. But I guess I was in the Tom King run, which I'm not a big fan of Tom King, so I don't really read his stuff. But yeah, like this just really felt like, and I should have known it was in England, because you can see over here you got Big Ben on the cover. I just didn't even notice it. I just thought, oh, it's red. There's just a red background, but now there's Big Ben. So but then he like teams up with I think it's Knight and Squire, I believe is who are the 2 characters he teams up with over there, who I didn't really know either. So there was no like big, oh, I love those guys or anything. It was just like, oh, who are these people? So it just didn't feel I don't know, it just didn't connect with me at all. So I'm gonna give this one a 2, just because the art was solid, but like everything else about it I just didn't connect with at all. So and then that's all the single issues I got done reading. Then if you remember last time, I had a couple big fat like books to read. I had let's see, Jeff Smith's Bone, the complete edition, which is so fat, and as you can see, I'm almost done. I actually breezed through it pretty quick. I got about, I don't know, 200 pages left or so. But this book is fucking fantastic. I'm going to do a full review of this, spoiler review when I'm done with it. But this book really, like, I don't know. When we did it for the comic book podcast, it was the first volume of it, and it was the colored editions, which are from Scholastic. And don't get me wrong, the coloring on it looks great. It just, for some reason, I don't know. It felt good this time when we read it, but like it still was like it's kind of a kid's book, or it just, I don't know. It wasn't clicking 100% with me. But then I picked this up, and because I was still interested, I'm like, everybody says this is amazing. I need to read it. So I picked this up, and I just kind of went from where we had finished with the Scholastic book, and it, in black and white, it's just amazing. Like, I don't know, something about it. It really, he's like a master at like drawing black and white, and like just everything in it is badass. There's a lot of like creepy fantasy stuff in it. This is basically just a big fantasy story about a distant land, or like a realm that we can't get to, that maybe on another world or something, that these bone creatures end up walking into on accident, and then they stumble into like this thing that's already going on, which is like this king of the locusts is trying to like raise himself from the dead or whatever, and there's like all this stuff. There's like princesses and queens and all these things happening in this valley, and dragons and rat creatures and big ass pumas and shit. So it's pretty interesting. This is really, really good. I mean, I'm reading this and I'm just breezing through it because it's so well drawn and so well written that like nothing holds you up at all. So I really recommend this. I'm going to do like a full review on this. I mean, the only thing that could really mess it up is if the ending sucked or something, but I'll let you know if that's the case. So I'll tell you guys at the end of the month if this one was like just as good in the end. I won't spoil anything. I'll wait for the spoiler review of that. So then after that, I read Berserk Volume 1, the deluxe edition. This is like one of the first manga series I've ever read. It's kind of like a new thing I'm trying to get into, since manga is like all the new hotness. And like basically my only thing with manga is like, my only exposure to it is like Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. I think I can't even remember any other ones. I used to watch the anime, but then I also read a couple of those when I was a kid, but I didn't read like all of them or anything. There just seemed like there was too many of them to like catch up on and stuff. So but this is like the first one I've really sat down on and read like a new series. And this isn't a new series, but like of an ongoing series. And this is like very interesting. It starts off, I don't understand how this book is as popular as it is, because I've seen like comic book fans who aren't manga fans love it. Then I've seen like moms and like children, and everybody reads it, not super little kids, but like teenagers and like I don't know, just like housewives and shit read this, and they're like, oh, it's amazing. And they're like all through the whole volumes, and I'm starting this, and I'm like, how is this like a normal, like this is not a normal story, and I wouldn't think anyone else would, like anybody who's not into like Hellraiser or horror stuff or super fucked up, like grim fantasy or whatever stuff, like Game of Thrones. Although I guess Game of Thrones is popular now, so maybe maybe that opened the door for this. But yeah, this was just like, at first starts off as just like strongman kill things. Like this dude named Guts is walking around. He's on a mission to kill as many demon guys as he can, and so he's going around, and we don't know why he's trying to kill them, but he's killing them. So he goes from town to town, and that's like the first, I don't know, 2/3 of this book is just him walking around town to town killing guys. And I should say, like, the art in this is really, really good. Like, there's never any time where I was like, wow, there's really skimping. It is very violent, so I have to find a page that I can show. But you get really solid art, and then you get like really really badass action scenes and stuff in this too, where he just goes crazy. He's hitting some skeletons in this. There's really really cool action scenes, and at first I was digging it, but it wasn't like anything that was like amazing, or I was just like, yeah, I mean, I get it. This dude's killing bad guys, cool. And then as I'm reading more, he's killing more and more guys. It's getting more and more like, okay, what's gonna happen next? Because how many of these like demon lords can you kill? And then he gets into this world that reminded me very 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 much of, let's say, Hellraiser 2, where there's like a labyrinth, just stairs everywhere, and he goes into this weird dimension, and then these dudes pop up, and I'm like, it's literally Hellraiser. It's like this author had to have seen Hellraiser and was like, I got an idea for those Cenobite characters, and I'm going to make them the bad guys in my manga book. So that was interesting, and from that point on, I was like fully in, because I'm a big fan of horror movies and Hellraiser specifically, and I was into it. That actually pulled me more into the camp of I want to continue reading this. So I instantly bought volume 2 after I finished that, because I want to find out what happens. So, but this series, apparently there's a lot of jumping around time-wise in Guts's life. So like, I think volume 2 goes back to him being like a kid, because and this is the thing with manga that I didn't really know, but apparently like in American comics, you have a full story in one trade, and then the next volume will be a new story. The way that Berserk is, at least this deluxe edition, they just print as many that will fit in the page count that they want. So like they'll print stories that like it'll be like, oh, the king returns storyline, then he sits on the throne storyline, and then him as a boy starts like the first one of it, and then it just cuts off, and then volume 2 has the rest of it. So it's weird that they just do that in manga, but apparently that's a thing. But I mean, that was fantastic. I'm gonna give that a 5. This volume was like super solid. I know it's big and looks daunting, but the way it reads, I was just flipping pages. Like, it was, a lot of pages are him fighting, honestly, and it's not a lot of talking. It's him going like, like as he gets stabbed or stabs someone or whatever. So it was pretty badass, though. I dig it. I'm going to continue with it. So yeah, I'm going to give that a 5 because it was super solid. I have not yet started Miracle Man. That's next on my list. I was wanting to get these bigger ones out of the way, so once I finish Bone, I'll read Miracle Man Volume 2. Yeah, and maybe I also got a volume of Invincible, so I was thinking about starting that compendium just because the show's out now, so I wanted to read that. But yeah, that's all I got for this time. If you guys like this content, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below. I want to know what you guys are reading. Have you guys read Berserk or Bone or any of those comics? What do you recommend? Because I'm always looking for new stuff to read. Oh, and as usual, just so you guys know, all of the links for these books are down below. So yeah, if you guys want to buy any of them or anything, these are the Comixology links, so it's the digital versions. But yeah, and with that said, I'll see you guys on the next one.